Bobby? Water sucks. Gatorade is better.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your Commish with another Gatorade Fantasy Football Podcast update. Are y'all ready? All right, let's go get it. All right, here we go, everybody. It is the week of Thanksgiving, the week of giving thanks. And, you know, for a couple guys, it's the week of giving spanks, which is exactly what White Josh, Corey, and Mikhail did to Fred, Trey, and TJ this week. As for the podcast this week, I skipped out on the power rankings. I'm just going to do a quick injury update, run through some of the game reviews, and mainly I will concentrate on the trade deadline moves, which we had a ton of them, and we'll give a little preview into the playoffs. Can't really give you anything too concrete because nothing's really set in stone except for a couple of, like, one actual playoff spot. Alright guys, this one might run a little long, so let's get started. For injuries real quick, nothing too serious. Kelvin Benjamin hurt his knee, out for a few weeks. Robert Woods hurt his shoulder, out for a few weeks. Quarterbacks, didn't really see anything too crazy. Jay Cutler, concussion, was it? Or I don't know. Tom Brady with an Achilles injury. Biggest injury of the week though has to be Chris Thompson, with broke his leg. You know, I guess that's what happens when you are like 5'8" and 190 pounds. But that's pretty much it for injuries, guys. Like I said, try to run through this. Let's go. On to the first game of the week. We have slight work at Fried Spam and Eggs with a score of 121.8 to 106.2. Manny actually started planning for next year already, yet he gets his decisive win. You know, still putting him back on top of the scoring totem. And, you know, a few days after thinking of trading Antonio Brown, you know, Brown goes off for 38 points. It's ridiculous. I'm never again, Antonio. Never again am I going to think about trading you. Angel, second game in like 3 weeks that he scored over 100 points. It's the second highest score he's ever had this year. So good for him. And most of it came from his newcomer Keenan Allen with 34 points. Imagine if I kept him. That would have been a nice duo. Second game we have on the docket is Pocket Dogs at Fail Mary of a score of 119.2 to 114.7. This was the closest game of the week. It's two playoff teams. Unfortunately for Josh, he's in Farmer Fran Fellowship, where Mikhail has already clinched a playoff spot at 10-1. Josh can only really get up to third seed at the highest. He still loses this game. You know, he has room to mess up because at 7-4 he's already guaranteed to get into the playoffs. Kareem Hunt disappoints once again with only 9 points, and Alshon produces once more, which is also surprising. He isn't hurt yet. Jordan wins a close one here, despite, you know, Smith only scoring 7.7 points. Alex Smith has been on a downward spiral, and it probably is why Hunt's not doing well either. It sucks though, because he also did have Chris Thompson break his leg. Yeah, that's all the important news on this game. Let's move on to the next one. In the third game here we had ACLs and Fibulas at Evil Doc with a score of 73.8 to 68.6. Actually, I think this score might have been closer, but you know, less implications. He still gets to win. It was an ugly game from Reg because Dak did not do too well. And he's not doing well, you know, without Tyron Smith. Alvin Kamara had another big game, and Joe Mixon once again played just like another guy. You know, he's not playing like the talented back that we thought he would be coming into the season. All that hype. Frank has nothing to play for this season, but maybe be a dream killer. He's not going to be crushing Reg's dreams, but I think Frank has a matchup in the next couple of weeks that could implicate whether, you know, Fred or Josh, White Josh or TJ gets in or something. Yeah. with the fourth game coming up, we have Motorboat and Sons of Bitches at Hard Knocks with a score of 117.2 to 151.1. Oh, 151. That brings back bad memories. Fred, 117 is a nice score. It really is. Kirk Cousins scored 26 and Josh Howard. Blast from the past. Jordan Howard scored 18, and Duke Johnson Jr. and DeAndre Hopkins scored 15 apiece. It was really nice. Unfortunately, you still lost by 35 points. Ouch, Kibbles. He had 22 points each, at least, from Tom Brady, Latavius Murray, Adam Thielen, and Brandon Cooks. Just a nice score by Josh. This game had playoff implications as it put both teams at 6 and 5. I'll get more into that later at the playoff preview. That's it for this game. Let's move on to the fifth one. In the fifth game, we have Vitamin D at Team Darkness with a score of 123.7 to 87.5. Milk just keeps on rolling. He's 10-1 with 10 straight wins. He had Mark Ingram and LaShawn McCoy. They're going to be crucial for him down the stretch. And Russell Wilson's a god. This guy's doing amazing. Let's hope that he can keep it up. I mean, he hopes he can keep it up. I personally don't care. For TJ, after winning 3 in a row, he drops his second in a row. Come on, TJ. Carson Wentz is doing Carson Wentz. Unfortunately, J.J. isn't getting the volume, even though he's producing pretty well. It could happen soon, or maybe next year. They don't really need him to. They could probably save him and afford to do that, but if so, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And for our last game, we have Barking Guns at Tasha Rain with a score of 49.1 to 81.6. Thomas Rawls is useless and Cam Newton was on bye. Maybe Trey will ruin someone else's weekend next week. Not this week though, because Corey stays in the hunt. He survived the -7 by the Saints. It wasn't really a contest. Trey's not playing, so not much we can really do or say about this game. And guys, that does it for the game reviews. Let's move on to trade reviews. It's gonna be a little history lesson here, so hope you enjoy. Alright, for the trade reviews, guys. There's a lot of trades this year. I actually looked back to the beginning of our existence for the Gatorade Fantasy Football League, and I counted how many trades we had each year and who led the league in trades. Hint, it's me every year. Every year it's me. This year, 2017, is actually the first year that every team made a trade. We'll just go through the years. In 2010, we had 30 total trades, with me doing 13 of them, and only one person didn't make a trade. I think it was Ryan. In 2011, 32 trades were made, 12 of them by me. Mikhail had 0 trades that year. In 2012, we dropped down. This is what the beginning of our little dark period. 6 trades only, and half of those, 3, were from me. In 2013, only 2 trades. One of them was me. In 2014, bumped back up, nice average, 18 trades, 6 of them were from me. 2015, 18 trades again, 7 from me. In 2016, bumped up again, 26 trades total, and 12 of them came from me. This year we have a whopping 78 trades made, with me doing 19 of them, Reggie, newcomer, with 13, Mikhail with 11, and Frank with 10. The addition of draft picks made a big deal. Just I don't know what it is. Just a lot of people trading very, very actively, even though a lot of the trades were probably between the same people. But I like it. I think it's a good foundation to have when people are willing to do that stuff. That's a little history review. And like I said, that's amazing, man. 78 trades, and everyone at least made one trade. But that's it for the little history lesson. let's get into the trades that were made within the last week. Alright, for most of these trades, actually have a lot of draft picks in them. If you go on the Facebook webpage, if you go on the homepage for our league, you'll see there will be links to the Gatorade League doc, where I have where I keep track of everyone's draft picks and what picks were made that included draft picks. And I'll also have a page you can click on the bottom. I'll have a tab open for your franchise players. Don't worry about having to fill anything out. I'll be filling that out as we go along and everything, but just so you guys know that's there. First trade we're going over. Manny trades LaShawn McCoy in a 2018 fourth round pick to Mikhail for Devontae Freeman in a 2018 third round pick. These are both top 5 running backs. Devontae not playing so well right now. LaShawn playing a little bit better and has a nicer schedule. You know, small pick swap. Can't say much else about that. Next trade, we have TJ who trades Lamar Miller, Sammy Watkins, and a 2018 10th round pick for to Josh for Nelson Aguilar, Buck Allen, and a 2018 4th round pick. This is actually pretty nice. TJ, I guess, was not planning on keeping Lamar Miller because he was planning on either franchising Jay Ajayi or Carson Wentz. If he does go the Ajayi route, Lamar Miller becomes useless to him, which means might as well get a pick, a 4th round pick, giving up a 10th. It's a nice upgrade, especially since Sammy Watkins, Aguilar, and Buck Allen aren't going to do anything for the rest of the year. It does weaken his chances of making the playoffs, which I will get into a little bit later. Third trade that we have, Josh trades a 4th round pick and strengthens his flex. He gets Lamar Miller back because he had him earlier in the year, and that could help him in the playoffs. Alright, next trade, it's a pretty big one. We actually have Manny trading Rob Gronkowski, Keenan Allen, who went off, and a 3rd round pick that he got from Mikhail to Angel for David Johnson and a 2018 8th round pick. It's a really big trade. Angel does have decent wide receivers on his team, but with the way his team was set up, was planning on even franchise 3-pooling Drew Brees, which not the smartest move considering we don't know if he's retiring or not, what team he'll be on, and who his offensive coordinator is. But luckily for him, he still gets Rob Gronkowski, who top of the line, Hall of Fame player, best at his position, even though he might not actually be number 1 right now. You can always expect him, you can always count on him to go off for 30 if you know he's capable of doing that. Manny, this is probably the first trade where he kind of calls it in for the year, trading away a top 2 top actual pieces with Keenan Allen, obviously his schedule, for someone who's on the IR, and if it works out and he's able to keep him, good. If he doesn't, he just wasted a 3rd round pick to, for the chance to keep David Johnson, but could be worth it. Next trade, we have Manny trading Corey Davis, a 2018 5th round pick and 7th round pick, to TJ for a 2018 3rd round pick and a 2018 11th round pick. Corey Davis is going to be pretty good. Fantasy Pros has him in Dynasty rankings as the 10th best wide receiver to own, and with that knowledge, TJ decided to make a trade. This also further cements the fact that he's going to franchise a running back or a quarterback, then probably 3-pool Westbrook, D.D. Westbrook, and Corey Davis. I think that's smart. Get a chance to get 2 top young wide receivers that you can continue to keep keeping. Picks, 5 and a 7 for a 3rd and 11. It's pretty good. Manny is stocking up on those picks. Next trade we have, Manny trades the Jacksonville defense and a 12th round pick to Mikal for a 2018 second round pick. This is could be underrated trade. I don't think so. Mikal gives up a second. Actually, I shopped this pick. Texted everybody, said whoever was willing to trade for it, and ended up being a little bidding war, I guess. Of course, I ended up winning because it was you guys were bidding against each other. But I think this isn't too bad. I think the Jacksonville defense is averaging about 15 points a game right now. Has a very easy schedule coming up. So this gives Mikal a really good chance to win this year, I believe. Especially with LaShawn McCoy. Second round pick would be a late second round pick anyways. Next trade we have Manny, who's trading Derrick Henry and an 11th round pick to Reggie for an 8th round pick. Reggie has DeMarco Murray, and he was trying to get Derrick Henry for a while, but before the acquisition of Devontae Freeman and David Johnson, I actually thought of three-pooling Derrick Henry. I think DeMarco Murray is done for, and I think soon they will just feed Derrick Henry the rock. And so it took me a while to trade him, but Reg finally got his handcuff for for his playoff run. So good for him. And next trade, we actually have it was pretty surprising to me. Josh finally trades Kareem Hunt, who's not been playing so well, to Mikal for Melvin Gordon and Sterling Shepard. Kareem Hunt has a pretty easy schedule coming up, and I believe he's on a better offense. He's probably on a better team, but Melvin Gordon's been playing better. Josh also gets Sterling Shepard, who I think he can flex in and out between Alshon and Dez, especially if Dez is not playing well because Dax struggles. But we'll see how that works. Mikal, he gave up Devontae Freeman to get LaShawn McCoy, and LaShawn McCoy, a little bit older, might not be good like long term, but for the next couple of years I think he could still be a little bit better or just as good as Devontae Freeman. It was a nice move for that pick swap and a better chance to win this year. Kareem Hunt, however, I don't think he's going to be as good as Melvin Gordon rest of season, because I think Melvin Gordon is going to, I just think that offense just feeds him the ball. Austin Eckler is there, but I think Gordon is the workhorse, and Kareem Hunt, even though he is getting the touches of a workhorse, really is not producing that much. I think it's a good trade for both people. Josh has a better win now, and Mikal, I think Mikal was smart in doing this because his win now went down a little bit from what it was, even with the LaShawn McCoy trade. But with the addition of the Jacksonville defense, I think it allows him to survive the difference between Kareem Hunt and Melvin Gordon this year, and then a little bit some. Next trade, small trade. Reggie trades Delaney Walker to Josh for Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins actually is going to be a free agent next year and could be a good pickup. From what I've been told, sorry, I'm spilling beans anyways. Reg was planning on franchising OBJ, then three-pooling his 3 rookie running backs, Mixon, Cook, and Kamara. But with Sammy Watkins in tow, depending on what team he goes to, it could be possible that Reggie franchises Kamara or maybe Cook, and then three pools, Sammy Watkins, Julio Jones, and OBJ. That could end up being really nice, but Sammy Watkins has never really been proven to put everything together, so it's still a big risk. Anyways, next trade, has nothing to do with next year, only this year. Because Reg trades Damian Williams, who's just a throwaway, and the Chargers defense to Frank for the Steelers defense. It's a win now move. Steelers defense were going to go to waste on Frank's team, so I guess it was good for him to get for Reg to get that. Just the same way that I traded the Jacksonville defense. I think Frank could have gotten a pick instead of wasting space with Damian Williams, though. And with the last trade made this season, there's actually a lot of drama surrounding this, but all is fair. Corey trades Doug Baldwin and a 2018 5th round pick to Reggie for a 2018 2nd round pick. Not too big of a trade, not too small. Corey did have a chance of getting in, but does trade like who I believe is his best player right now. He kind of phoned it in. The 3-round jump could be worth it. Another 2nd round pick is nice, but if Reg does go far in the playoffs, which he can, then it's gonna be a 8th pick in the 2nd round, 9th pick in the 2nd round. So it's not worth as much as it would normally be. If I felt like if Corey were to actually want to call it quits and start trading for picks, he could have done much better. He has Jerick McKinnon, could have traded somebody, Devontae Adams maybe, but he's hooked on keeping Devin Funchess, who I don't know. I've seen him play. He's not that good, but I said the same thing about Devontae Adams, but I trust Devontae Adams quarterback much more than I trust Cam Newton. But we'll see, I guess, if Funchess continues this for more than half a season. I guess you can't at that point really deny him. But yeah, alright guys, that does it for all the trades. Trade deadline is over. A lot of picks have been swapped. We had about 7 trades that included draft picks, 8 trades. Everything has been updated, so don't worry about it. Everything's taken care of. You guys should be able to check things out on the Facebook. The links are all there. If you have any questions, I'd be able to I'll probably send out an email, with the podcast for this week, because I guess and a couple of the links, because it's pretty good information. But yeah, let's get into the playoff preview. And here we are, ladies. The first playoff preview of the year. If anything changes, I might change something next week. If not, really expect a real full playoff preview when playoff positions are completely set. Actually, could happen next week if games, I guess, fall the right way or wrong way for certain people. But let's get into it. Mikhail, best record in the league, 10-1, has a bye week, week 14, as does Jordan. Jordan and Reggie do have the same record at 8-3, but right now Jordan does have more points. He has scored 1,182, and Reggie has only scored 1,169. But it's because of that score that Jordan right now is the division leader for the Captain Insano Coalition, so he gets a bye first week of playoffs. In the 5-4 bracket, we have Josh Shaden at 5, at Josh Del Mundo at 4. This matchup is a lot closer right now. Josh is second place in the Farmer Fan Fellowship. He is guaranteed a playoff spot because he has 7 wins already, but and he it's just depending on where he lands between 4, 5, and 6, because some people can beat him if they, I guess, act right. But Josh has made a few moves to keep himself relevant. Obtaining Delaney Walker, Melvin Gordon, Lamar Miller. So we'll see what happens with him. In the next actual matchup in the playoffs, we have predicted Fred at 6 against Reggie at number 3. This matchup is gonna be tough. First off, Fred, Josh, and Reg also are all in the same division. Luckily, divisions don't matter except for first bye week. I'm going to be thinking about realignment, so we get 4 divisions, 3 people in each division. You have 4 people on bye. I don't know. I've heard of it. It's supposedly pretty good, so that way you get like the best 4 teams, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, Reggie is 8-3, so he's really ahead of the pack. But Josh and Fred are both capable. Both at 6-5 are both capable of getting to 8-3 if Reg loses out and they both win out. If that happens, you'll have Jordan at least at 8-5. Reggie, Josh, and Fred all 8-5. That happens, they can just all move up and down. They're all in the same division, so that second bye week really is open to anybody right now, because only 2 players are coming out of the Farmer Fan Fellowship. The Captain Insano coalition was much more, I guess, powerful. It's like the West versus the East. We'll see how that works out. Next up, yeah, that's really can't really give anything too definitive right now because of just we don't know where people are going to be at. Like I said, we have 2 games left. A lot of things can happen because there's 3 teams that are still capable of making it into the playoffs. There's a few scenarios that are involved both teams, and I'm gonna need to go over them for you guys. So here we go. We're done playoff preview. We're not done. We're done with the first half. Let's get into the playoff hunt. Alright guys, playoff hunt. Like I said earlier, we have 3 teams. First in the playoff hunt, we have Corey, who is at 5-6. He has scored 1,020 points, and his division record is 1-3. He has a couple scenarios here that he can play out. What he needs to happen in the first scenario, he needs 1 win to get to 6-7. He needs White Josh and Fred to lose both their games so they go to 6-7, and he also needs to be able to score enough points where he outscores them enough to win the tiebreaker, which is points scored. After record, it goes to points scored if there's a tie. Yeah, so 1 win, the 2 teams above him to lose out, because he's not going to catch up to Josh, to Del Mundo, or Reg, or Jordan, or Mikhail. For his second scenario, he needs to win out 2. He needs to win out 2 games, or to 7 games. He needs to win 2 games to get to 7-6. He needs Josh and Fred to lose at least once, so they stay at 6-5. And whoever does not lose, I guess, and whoever becomes 7-6, he needs to make sure he just outscores them in most points scored for the tiebreaker. After trading Baldwin, I don't know how likely those scenarios are. For our second playoff hunt candidate, we have Manny, who's 4-7 with a league leading 1,213 points, but he's 0-3 in his division. This is kind of crazy because at 4-7, if he wins out, his only scenario is that he has to win out to 6-7. and he needs Josh, Fred, and Corey. Like, none of them get past 6 wins, because that's the highest Manny can get to. And if neither of them get 6 wins, and I do have to stay ahead of them in points. I can't just, lollygag. That's the only way Manny gets in, is if he gets to 6 and 7, and hope TJ doesn't get there either. But I'm not worried about TJ scoring that many points. I'm not worried about anybody scoring that many points, actually, except for Reggie. And for our third candidate, we have TJ, who's also 4 and 7. He's last in the Captain Sano Coalition. He'd actually be 4th in the Farmer Fran Fellowship. But what needs to happen, he needs to win out as well to get to 6 and 7. He also needs White Josh, Fred, and Corey to not get past 6 wins. And he needs Manny to lose at least 1 game. And then he also has to score enough points to outscore everybody in that tiebreaker. So even if Manny wins out, TJ needs to at least score like 300 points, because that's how far he is behind. But very unlikely that TJ wins or TJ gets in, but very possible. Very possible. Alright guys, that is the playoff hunt, along with the playoff preview, a little trade deadline bonanza. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Look at that, 31 minutes, about my average. Is a little bit late, but yeah, I'll be able to get at least more solid analysis to you guys in the next coming weeks as things solidify for the playoffs. As for now, good luck to all you guys that are still trying to make it. Thank you for making this year, for being very active this year with the trades and everything. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, or ladies. That's your podcast. Yeah. Talk to you guys next week. Oh, as usual, any questions, comments, or concerns, hit your boy up through Facebook, text, whatever, dude. Just, I don't know. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys all. Very thankful for all you queers in my life. Have a good one, guys. Commish out.